This is our 4th year in a row to get in, and you never take it for granted. I mean, that's one of the goals at the start of the year, to qualify for this tournament, which is such a big deal. It's nice to be in, excited about it, and know you're going to play good teams, but I don't ever want to take that for granted, because if you start taking that for granted, I think it's a mistake. Even watching your name get pulled up, it feels, yeah, it's a little different, but it still is something that at the start of the year, you're like, I hope we're good enough to qualify for this tournament and then see what happens. But yeah, there's wisdom and experience without a doubt, and there's certainly things I've learned over the years that hopefully will be helpful as a coach and for our players.
A somewhat businesslike response from the Cavaliers as they found out their destination for this year's NCAA tournament. The Cavaliers, the 5 seed, will be taking on the 12 seed, UNC Wilmington. I'm Dave Koehn, Director of Broadcasting and voice of the Cavaliers, joined by Director of News Content on VirginiaSports.com, Jeff White. And Jeffrey, we learned where Virginia was going, Orlando, Florida. I know you didn't argue with that after freezing our tails off at times in New York. Could have been in Buffalo. Happy to be going to Florida. But aside from that, were you surprised by the 5 seed? Did anything catch you off surprise when we found out Virginia's path to the Final Four?
No, I would not have been shocked with a 6 seed, but many bracketologists had predicted a 5, and it seems about right. And I think this is Virginia's reward for playing a challenging non-conference schedule with tough games on the road. Obviously, the ACC schedule is brutal. This team really challenged itself away from Charlottesville.
Some familiar teams will be playing in that bracket with Virginia in that Orlando area, not necessarily out on the East bracket per se, but another ACC team, Florida State, will be down there. A couple Florida schools, and of course, if Virginia was able to advance on past UNC Wilmington, they take on the University of Florida. You talk about a home court advantage. We'll hit on that in a moment.
If Florida were to beat East Tennessee
Correct.
State.
All the Florida flavor, though. Florida State, Florida Gulf Coast. It's going to be an interesting atmosphere down there.
Yeah, it would be if you ended up with a second-round matchup with Virginia and Florida. I mean, that would be a hostile advantage for Virginia, which would be something to deal with, but I think that's a problem, the coaching staff would be happy to have.
And it is a team that has handled itself pretty well on the road in hostile environments through the course of the last couple of years, this year included, at junctures with some good wins at Notre Dame, a good hard win at Louisville. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because UNC Wilmington, let's call it what it is. It is the in vogue pick for a lot of folks when they talk about upsets around the national pundits. This has been one that people are circling. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think historically 12s have done well against 5s, and the gap between the 5s and the 12s is probably smaller than it's ever been. But, Wilmington is a team that does what it does very well. It's going to run, it's going to press, and I think most impressive about Wilmington is that it's been here before. They made the NCAA tournament last season. They gave Duke a really tough game in the first round before losing. The bulk of that Wilmington team is back this year, so they're not going to be fazed by playing an ACC team. They're not going to be awed by playing in the NCAA tournament. And, for a lot of teams that haven't been there, I think they get overwhelmed by the hoopla and the hype of the NCAA and playing on that stage. That's not going to be an issue with Wilmington.
Contrast to styles in a team that likes to shoot the 3 ball. Going to be an intriguing matchup in a lot of ways when you break down just how UNC Wilmington has been able to be as effective as they have on offense.
The staple of their offense is the high screen and roll, and they will run that. They have a big man, Devontae Caycock, who's shooting nearly 80% from the floor, which is phenomenal. So he's the key. He will set that pick up high and roll to the basket, and they can go inside to him or kick it outside to three-point shooters. Kevin Keatts, the head coach of UNCW, was an assistant coach for 3 years at Louisville under Rick Pitino. The system is going to remind people a lot of what Louisville likes to do, which is run and press, shoot three-pointers, and use their athleticism.
At the end of the day, this is a Virginia defense, while stout and one of the most stingy in college basketball. They have at times had trouble protecting against shifty guards that can penetrate into the paint. That sometimes can set up the three-point shot, can't it?
Yeah, that has been a problem. A common denominator in games where Virginia has struggled is often a team that can get into the lane. Quick guards will get in the lane. They're not necessarily going to go all the way to the basket, try to make the shot themselves. They will kick the ball back out to the perimeter where the other team can reverse it. And if they move the ball quickly enough and well enough, they get open three-pointers. And as we said, Wilmington has accomplished three-point shooters. Denzel Ingram has made 105 three-pointers this season. The pack line is designed to keep teams out of the lane. How effective Virginia is at that will probably have a lot to do with how this game turns out.
Now, as much as we may want to talk about this UNC Wilmington team, the reality is for any Tony Bennett coach team, it's worrying about yourself. And that's what the Cavaliers will be tasked with, particularly as the favorite in this game.
Yeah, a lot's going to come down to, do shots fall. This is not a team with a, significant low post in the paint scoring threat. So guys are going to have to make three-pointers. So, that's another storyline to watch.
Kyle Guy, London Parentis, 1 for 17 against Notre Dame. You have to think that will have to change in this game against UNC Wilmington. Virginia will be playing for the right to take on the winner of Florida and Eastern Tennessee State, a 12:40 game on Thursday. To start off the NCAA tournament, the Cavaliers, one of the early birds. If they're able to win that, we hope to be talking to you more about this shortly. But for now, for Jeff White, I am Dave Koehn. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll hope to have more content for you moving forward.